FBI Supervisory Special Agent Jason Pack is joining me right now for more perspective. Jason, great to see you again. You say last night's operational activity is a significant escalation. Why?
Well, it was at the time because it means they were acting on actionable intelligence, Fred, which means that these 30,000 tips are leading to things that you can get a search warrant from. So it's sort of like now that we are living a real-time ride-along with police and in between these leads when they go out, and it can be sort of dangerous. So I think I would caution folks, like, you're going to see this again, and it's going to happen more and more as these 30,000 leads, as the agents and the deputies kind of go through these leads. And talking about tips, Fred, like, here's a tip that we used to get when I was taking these calls. Hey, we think we saw this person at the Walmart or the McDonald's. Walmart would be significant, but or just some random place. But a better tip is, hey, I had a neighbor that I haven't seen in a while, and he has a backpack and all these types of things. So these more specific details are the ones that get pushed to the top. So I think the agents and the analysts are going through these tips, and they're looking for these more specific details. They're going to look at all of them, but they're looking for these ones with the more specific details to put at the top of the list.
And the scale of the response to tips is what we're seeing here customary, or is this more typical of a high-profile missing persons case, which is what this is?
I think it is more typical of a high-profile case, and sometimes that's why the FBI will put a reward out in something that maybe is not as high-profile in order to generate tips. We have every eyeball in the country, and in fact, probably the world, on this case right now. So you're going to get a lot of tips, and it's going to be up to the agents, the analysts, and the deputies to sort through those and make sure they're actioning the right ones. And I think, again, Fred, while they were on this search warrant last night, they weren't forgetting about this backpack at Walmart, and they weren't forgetting about these other avenues of investigation. The ransom letter we haven't heard anything about. They're still looking at that, even though it may or may not be legitimate. So I think there are different teams out there doing a lot of different things.
I mean, this is what investigators do, but I wonder, too, how taxing this might be on these investigative teams, because there's been such a flood of tips, especially after the surveillance video, the home Nest camera video was revealed. Can you touch on what this is like for the investigators?
Yes, and I think having done both sides of that, both the video side of it and going out door to door and talking to people, they want to be the ones to crack the case. They want to be the ones to get that lead. So they are motivated. They're motivated by the sense of duty. They're motivated by watching the videos of Savannah and her family. They want to help. That's why people who are first responders sign up for this. And I think they're motivated every day. They come in, they have a shift briefing every 12 hours where they say, this is what we've done. They go around. So every bit of information that they've collected is accounted for. And that goes for the people doing the digital work too. So they're getting together, they're putting all the dots together, putting them on that timeline and waiting for that big break to happen.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano spoke with our Ed Lavendera yesterday about the search. I want to play a portion about what he had to say about DNA. Take a listen.
We have DNA. So trust me, if we knew who it was, we'd be on it. But we do have some DNA, and we'll continue to work with the lab on that DNA analysis.
And that was from the house?
I'm not telling you where it was. We have DNA.
And in your view, how will they go about trying to find a match of that DNA? What are some of the tools that they'll be using?
Well, they're going to send it to the lab, whether it's their lab or the FBI lab. But when they get a profile from that DNA, they're going to go back and either try to find somebody that may have been in the house that they don't have a reference sample for, like a worker or some maintenance person, something like that, or they'll go do something that's called investigative genealogy, which is really a technique that's been around for a few years now, but it's really powerful tool. It takes a little while to go through those commercial databases and see if there's a match there, and then you'll have to do some genealogy research to see if that person is in that database as well.
That's partially trying to match up with things like all these companies that people have, just ordinary citizens have taken advantage of, right? Submitting their DNA. And now it's a matter of matching up with some of that's in that database.
Yep, that's right. Exactly right. They'll take get a partial match, and they'll be able to do some family genealogy to see which side of the family it's on or if it's in there at all. So there's several avenues to pursue. And again, we don't know if it's touch DNA or hair and fiber. There's different types of DNA. He didn't go into that too much. The good news is they have something that's collected in there that's foreign DNA. And then they also have their best clue is going to be that video too. So between those two things, there's a lot they know that they're not telling the public. And that's probably a good thing.
All right. Retired FBI Special Agent Jason Pack, great to see you. Thanks so much.